Well, hello, and welcome or welcome back to the Curious Coaches Lemonade Stand with your host, yours truly, Dr. Gina. You are here at our friendly neighborhood virtual third space where you can always drop by, get something to quench your thirst, give you a little bit of insight to swish around your cup, and just refresh you. And of course, we always encourage you to pass it along and share with a friend if you love what's in your cup. We are always looking to take life's lemons, make them into lemonade. And as always, I am so excited to welcome an amazing guest today. Our topic is one that is really, I think, different and unusual from what we've spoken about on the lemonade stand before, and yet completely aligned with the idea of quenching that thirst and being refreshing. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to the lovely Lindsay.
Thank you, miigwech, anin, bojo, mino gijep kinawea, nang waskone kwe indigenous kaz, bawa ting and donjaba, wasakwa de Anishinaabe kwe minwa jaganashin dao. A little traditional Ojibwe introduction to get me started. Hello, my friends. I'm going to tell you what I said in Ojibwe and then I'll continue to introduce myself. Hello, my friends. My name is Starflower in Ojibwe, Starflower Woman. My English name is Lindsey Ackland. I am from the historic Bawating area, which is the historic Sault Ste. Marie area in Northern Ontario. And I have mixed ancestry. I'm a little bit of everything. I have some Scottish and Irish in there, a little bit of French, a little bit of English, and I have a little bit of Ojibwe as well. My Anishinaabe roots are from a place called Sugar Island and Mackinac Island, which are now in the United States of America, all part of the beautiful Turtle Island, which we can probably get to in a little while. But yes, it's so great to be here. Thank you, Dr. Gina, for having me.
Sure.
Um, my name is Lindsey Ackland, as I mentioned. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie. I currently work at Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation, and that is how I met lovely Dr. Gina. We clicked. It was one of those energies that just kind
For
of,
sure.
the synergies that connect you. And here I am today. So I'm so thrilled to be in this space. We connected through equity, diversity, inclusion, belonging. And I'm so excited to talk about the water, something that has always truly made me feel belonging. So, yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. I will never get tired of hearing you tell me that your name is Starflower Woman. That is the most beautiful name. I absolutely love it. And I was listening to all of your mixture and thinking, you know what? I don't know if you know this, but that's also a very typical Caribbean mixture. Like before, when you talked about all of the different Europeans, I mean, you kind of called out lots of the colonizers. And
Mhm.
so, we've got a lot of that mixture. And it really brought to mind probably something that also pulled both of us into diversity, equity, and inclusion work is that mixture, right? Is knowing that you have that multifaceted identity, that built-in intersectionality. Before we even had the word intersectionality, we were living it, we were navigating it, we were finding out how to belong and walk in different worlds effectively and impactfully. So I think it's a very natural and organic transition for us to want to help others do the same.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna write all that down and use that in the future. That's so beautiful. 100%. A bridge
Oh, thank
builder. I like
you.
to consider myself a bridge builder, and I think you are as
Yes.
well, right? Yes.
Yes. And so when we met, as Lindsay said, we had the wonderful opportunity of meeting at an OLG event that was very equity and belonging centered. And that click was totally immediate. And a lot of it, interestingly, revolved around the concept of water. And we quickly realized just how much we have in common, not just around all the other things mentioned, but something about how much the water is core and central to who we are and what we do and how we live our lives. So, what does water mean for you, Lindsay? Let's start there.
Here's my heart. So water is life, Dr. Gina. That's the first thing I've learned, through walking this life path is that water is life, and I have a deep respect for the way that water sustains transcends not only myself and my family and you and all of my friends and everyone on this planet, but everything on this planet that is alive, water sustains, including the beautiful Mother Earth herself and how she carries us. So none of us would be here without that beautiful fresh water. And in my personal life, I grew up around the fresh water. So Sault Ste. Marie, Bawa Ting, in Ojibwe, Bawa Ting means place of the rapids. I live in this beautiful area, this beautiful river called the St. Mary's River, which is right adjacent to Lake Superior. Have you ever been to Lake Superior?
I have not. I've always wanted I think it's the only major Great Lake, only one of the Great Lakes that I have not visited.
It is extraordinary. And I don't use that word often. I usually only use it for my daughter. So, but Lake Superior is extraordinary. And it is factually the largest freshwater lake in the world in surface area. And so that's always, as you know, my learning journey has continued, has always fascinated me about that lake, that it holds the most fresh water that sustains this planet. And then as you move through your learning journey in life, I studied history, and I did a lot of historical thesis papers on the development of Bawating and Sault Ste. Marie, and studying Lake Superior was part of that. And um, factually, over 400 rivers flow into Lake Superior. 400 rivers flow into Lake Superior. How many rivers do you think flow out? Trick question.
I'm gonna think it's something dramatically different. So 400 flow in, maybe 4 flow out.
That's a great guess. It's actually one river. So 400 rivers are feeding the largest freshwater lake in the world, and we have one central exit point flowing to the rest of the Great Lakes, which has always just, since I learned that, blown my mind, right? In that
What is that river? And why didn't I learn this in grade 7 Canadian geography?
right? Yeah. So it's called the St. Mary's River, the St.
So
Mary's River.
that's the one that you're by.
And that's right,
Okay.
like, I can see it from here.
Wow.
It's right where my office is, and where my house is located, it's kind of right where Lake Superior starts to flow into the river. So I'm very connected to this
Awesome.
place, right? And then the idea that this largest freshwater body is flowing. But as I worked with Indigenous communities, what is really, I think, so beautiful and interesting is this concept of water holding memories. Elders have always told me that water holds memories. So as I, dove a little deeper into researching Lake Superior, I learned that it takes like 200 years for the water to circulate around the river around the lake, sorry, before it comes out to St. Mary's River. So I
200.
always like 200
Wow.
years. So think of the memories that flow past us here in Sault Ste. Marie every day from the past, and the beautiful connection to this land that we have, the land that we're on in Turtle Island. So I just want to back up a bit with the Great Lakes as well, and we're talking about place and why I love it so much, and this connection to water. When we look at North America on like from an aerial perspective, it
Mhm,
actually looks like a turtle. And I should
mhm.
have brought like a little share screen video right now, but like I urge everybody to look it up. Please, anybody listening, look up what North America looks like, and it looks like a turtle. You can see the tail at the bottom and the head at the top, and right where the heart of the turtle would be is right where the Great Lakes are. You can see it. You can
Ooh,
see it. And so you think about why that would be such an important place. Like Bawating, why are we in like, this heart of the turtle? Because right where the heart of the turtle
pumping
is right
life.
where we are, right?
Yeah.
Pumping life. And then when we think about water, everything alive follows the water. So as I dove into history papers and research and, learning a little bit more about this beautiful place I call home, I learned that every single person would have passed by this place in history because it's the place where all the Great Lakes meet. So if we think about a time before planes, trains, and automobiles and all these cool ways we have of getting around today, our indigenous people of Turtle Island would have gotten around via the water.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
anybody traveling north, south, east, west along the waterways would have had to pass through Bawating, the place of the rapids. So it's just
Thinking
such
about that with what you just said about 200 years of memories, that's just amplified, exacerbated that number and what those echoes wow, it's
right?
incredible to really conceive of.
Yes. And so Lake Superior, I always tell people like yourself, you have to come and visit it because it's magical, quite frankly. It's just magic. And so when you go and you're driving along the coast of it, it's simply breathtakingly beautiful, just the coastline and the scenery. But but when you touch the water and you feel the water, there's just something special. A, it's really cold. It's colder than most because it's really deep, obviously, but yeah, there's just something truly magical about it. So please come and visit me so you can see
Yes,
why
well,
this place has just
that's a foretold
really
conclusion. That's
yeah,
absolutely happening.
I love that.
What do you do with this, amazing water? So, what kind of contacts do you come into with it? Are there certain water activities that draw you, and how did you get started with those? So many questions.
That you asked me that. Again, a very personal story in question. So I'm very family oriented. I love my family. I'm very privileged that I come from such a beautiful support network. And my dad is Indigenous, Ojibwe Métis, and he taught us very much from the land on the land. So harvesting, hunting, and fishing, connection to food has always been something that has really been important to him to pass on to us. So my first connection to the water was really fishing in the water and
Mm,
connecting with the fish and the animal, well, the aquatic life, we'll say, in the water and learning a little bit about them and learning the respect of the life that they carry and
mhm,
how when we take that life, we do it in a respectful way, and we never take without giving back. And the way we give back is through respect, is respecting the water and the life that it gives, the life that it sustains, and also respecting the life that you're taking and ensuring that you're not wasting any of it and
mm,
that you're using all of it and helping sustain in any way you can sustain Mother Earth, right? And
mhm,
so that was my very first real connection, I think, to that water was with my dad and learning that, that water sustains us and being respectful to it and learning how to fish. And then I just thought I was a mermaid. So then we just go into the chapter of adolescence where now I'm swimming with the fish and I think that I was meant to actually belong under the water with
oh,
them.
so just, so everyone watching, listening to this podcast knows this was really the linchpin that brought us together was recognizing, wait, you thought you were a mermaid? I thought I was a mermaid. Wait, why am I using the past tense? It's not even a past tense thing. It because the
Yes.
water has always felt like home.
Yes, a sense of real belonging, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. It
I've always
holds
felt
you.
like that's where we come from. I know we can talk about our physical composition and our makeup, and I always wondered after learning that in school, is that why I love being in the water? Is it because I am of water and I want to return to water? What do you think of that? Is that what pulls you, do you think?
Think that what you just said is beautiful and so holistic. Not only are we made of water, we come from water. Our mom, they carry us in a womb full of water, right?
Yep.
Everything that surrounds us is water. So I love that you said that. And walking with some indigenous communities in this area, that's what I learned as well, this
Mhm.
holistic connection to that water. So yeah, I do feel like there is an energy in us around us that connects us to that water. And in the
Yeah.
hustle and bustle of life, I feel like we forget that we're connected to everything in this natural world, all the elements, all the animals, all the plant life. In Ojibwe, there's this beautiful word. It's actually my favorite word. It's Indinawe Maganadok. Indinawe Maganadok.
In
And it
Dinaway
means
Maganadok.
my goodness. That was incredible. Good job, Dr. Gina. Um, a lot of people struggle with that word clearly because it's a very long word, right? So that was incredible. Indinawe
Thank you.
Magnadog, and it means all my relations. So a lot of times Ojibwe individuals will will say that in conversation, right? Recognizing all my relations because we're connected to everything in the natural world. And I recently learned from this incredible human, his name is Joel. Joel told me that we share the same DNA as a tree. So when we talk about the physical
Mm.
composition of our makeup and we actually drill down DNAs between us and like the natural world, we have DNA the same as a tree in certain pieces. And so like I think that that was mind blowing to me where I'm like, that's why I love to hug them because we're the same. We're family. Right?
Yes, yes,
Oh.
you're just reminding me of when I used to work, at OPG,
Mhm.
and my office there in Pickering faced a forested area near Lake Ontario, and lots of trees around. Even though, you'd think a nuclear facility, lots of trees around. Yeah, there were. There's a lot of park and natural area around it. And just like if I look straight ahead from where I sat, I could see this one particular grove of trees across a flat expanse of lawn. And it was not unusual for me to see a woman. And I don't even think it was always the same woman out hugging that tree. I would just kind of look up from work and be like, ah, tree hugging again. And it was just like a moment to almost remind me, hmm, it was like escaping work. I hadn't even gotten up from my desk, but just watching a woman go and hug a tree was a reminder of that connection, a reminder of what's truly central and important. I'm so grateful that you brought up that I not idea, the reality that we come from water, that we're in water in our mother's womb, and how much that brings us to a space of safety and healing, because it immediately made me think of, yeah, when I'm in water, I love warm waters, so I'm very partial to warm seas, especially the Caribbean Sea, and floating in the Caribbean Sea and ensuring that my ears are underwater. That sound is so comforting, and it makes me think of how, you know, both my children would be comforted as babies, especially my older one who's very colicky, if you turned on a vacuum, because that's what would simulate the womb. That's kind of what you hear under the water, right? And I think about times I personally, and I know lots of people who have memberships at clubs where you do float sessions, where you're literally just in salt water floating. And that's, 60 minutes of sensory deprivation. And I think I've always thought that's such an ironic name for it, because to me, it's heightening all of the senses that we turn off during the day.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
actually the very opposite. You're depriving me of all of the stimulants that, kind of force me to ignore, not hear, not perceive or pay attention to the kinds of signals I actually really want to hear, the ones that make me feel like I'm coming home to myself.
Yes. Connected with
Yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And I find that water oh, like, yeah, even just sitting and the sound of waves too, like, I
yes.
th it's that similar effect for me that when I'm sitting by waves, like, it's like that sense of belonging, of coming home, of of refocus almost or reconnection. Like you're saying, like you go and you're working and you're busy and you're in all of these different pockets, right, of your day trying to,
Mhm.
focus and do all of these different things and we lose focus I think sometimes on that on ourself, that
Yeah.
piece of self, right? And so I think that it's really important for us to find those ways, whether it be water or I know you love motorcycling as well, and my partner is a huge motorcyclist, so I know he also says that, when he's on his bike, he has that maybe it's that sound of the wind, right? Like, it's like he
That
almost
could be it, because
yeah,
those are my 2 times to find my most meditative state. As a professional coach, I am terrible at 2 things that coaches are usually great at: journaling and meditating. And so I tend to find other ways of achieving the ends that people, use those tools to seek. So for me to attain a meditative state, one of 2 things: either I'm in the water or I'm on a motorcycle. Those are the
yeah,
2 most meditative states I will find. And I think you really hit something on the head there with that
the
whoosh,
sound.
that whooshing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even enjoy it, like, being on the back. I find it completely relaxing on the back because I have no responsibility back there. I just have to I just have to move with them, and then I'm safe, right? So, um, but yeah, I find it relaxing as well, that sound, right? And just, again, being in nature, the smells you get is like, it's
Yeah,
all
it's
of those
totally different from
sensories
being in a
that
car.
just yeah, it really is. And it helps connect you. It helps connect you with nature, right? And that natural element of being outside and connection, which is, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
my favorite
So
thing.
how do you find, I love that you also highlighted for us how incredibly integral and important your family is for you. How do you bring your love of water into your love of family? How do those two things interact with one another?
Every single day. So my daughter thinks she's a mermaid as well, which
Of course. If I had
mom
a daughter, I'm
is
sure she
also
would too.
right? And mom's a little bit of a storyteller, so we've, my partner's family has a beautiful camp, on this lake called Big Basswood, and it's absolutely incredible. It's just east of Sault Ste. Marie, and it is so clear, you can see right through it, but it's also very deep, like, just a beautiful lake. Anyways, her and I love kayaking. I also love kayaking. My family, growing up, we've always kayaked and paddle boat. We had a paddle boat as well. I loved things that
Right?
were quiet because the motor to me takes away from what I'm
I
hearing,
agree. And
right?
also
And
the
so
smell of the motor, because I love
it
swimming
yeah,
in the ocean, and I'm always trying to get away
yes,
from the boats so that I can the
yes.
last thing I want is, like, coming up for air as I'm doing, a long swim, and that breath full of air is a lung full of gassy smoke out of some motorized yacht or something, yeah.
Yes. Well, exactly, exactly. It's always nice to just paddle and listen, right?
Yes.
So that's we definitely kayak, and then my daughter, when we are out at Big Basswood, she calls our mermaid. So she has this, it's from Frozen 2. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but she calls that the Elsa song, like, "Ah," and she stands there
Uh-huh.
and she calls her, and then the mermaid may leave her trinkets, and she leaves the mermaid some trinkets, and they, like, exchange little gestures back and forth on the
Oh,
shorelines.
so
And then when
beautiful.
we're kayaking, this one time we were out kayaking, and I'm like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And I told her that the mermaid must have hit the bottom of her boat. So then she, like, looks for like, it's so nice because she's so connected to the water, and I think that, as she moves through her learning journey of life, because we
Mhm.
all have our own path to walk, I hope that the water helps to do for her what it's done for me, to kind of bring her back, right? Even to the playful memories and stories that you remember when you're a kid, right? Of being in the water and bringing
Yep.
you back to that happy space, right? Heart and mind and soul, and just kind
Yep.
of tying it all in. And so we like the quiet canoeing. We're a big canoeing family. We like to fish from the canoe. And then I also travel a lot for the water. So, like, I've
Yes.
traveled internationally for the water as well. So as much as
Oh,
I have it, with my family, I can't wait for the day when my daughter starts traveling for the water with me. That's one thing I'm really hoping I can share with her. And I've fished in multiple continents now, which has been such an incredible experience, and
mhm.
just meeting different fish from all over the world, and, letting them go beautifully back in the water, and saying "Pamapi," which means "see you later" in Ojibwe, and just learning kind of the different ways that people, treat and sustain their aquatic life. So it's been a
Yes.
learning journey, the water. It's brought me in many directions, but one day I really hope to travel and with my dad. I would really love to fish somewhere with my dad.
That would be
Anywhere.
beautiful.
Yeah, I think he would just really love it. So, those are the
We
those are the things I think that connect us most as a family.
definitely make it happen. I think, you and I talked a little bit about travel, and my family's favorite trip, or none as a family, was definitely when we did the Galapagos, huge bucket list trip a couple of years ago. My sons are both very strong swimmers. My older son is 15 and he's just waiting to turn 16 to become a lifeguard. So he's an assistant one right now. And my younger son just finished his final level of like the Red Cross swim badges, hilariously under my older son being his assistant teacher. So that was a very full circle moment that made me very proud as a mom because their dad is a very okay swimmer. I basically taught him to swim. We're, high school sweethearts, and when I met him, it wasn't a good look. He kind of flailed a lot, and I'm like, okay, no, this is kind of a non-negotiable. We're gonna be together. You got to learn to swim at least passably.
Gonna work on it.
Exactly. So he's come a long way, but I think we're all very confident that the kids are better swimmers. And so when we went to the Galapagos, such an incredible experience. As you said, we've been blessed to travel and um, see a lot of water around the world. I travel specifically for beaches. I would say Mark, my husband, travels specifically for turtles. So that combination has led us to some very interesting places. We've released turtles in Brazil, in Florida, in Cuba, like just in different parts of the world, Spain. Like it's incredible experiences we've had. And that's why the Galapagos is very much like a culmination of all of that. So when you talk about, respect and care for the waters, what an amazing place to really go and learn that. That is the epitome of protection on the globe for sea and marine life and so many different species that only exist there. And, when you talk about the Disney experience, we really felt like we were in Finding Nemo when we went snorkeling in the Galapagos because what you see under the water there is incredible. So we had a really wonderful guide for our tour. We had maybe 15-ish people there, and everyone was encouraged to wear life jackets. The waters were actually quite cold. I was surprised, like 14, 15 degrees Celsius. So when we hit the water, it was like, oh, because it was, I think, August. So we weren't expecting it to be that chilly. And, like, "Aren't we near the equator? What is happening?" So, my, younger son and Mark stayed, kind of close to the group and in their life jackets. The guide knew that my older son, Kai, and I are very confident and capable swimmers, and so he said, "If you don't wanna wear the life jacket and you wanna go out further with me, you're welcome to." So, we're like, "Yeah, of course, you wanna go on an adventure." And the moment I will never forget was, like, just swimming really deep and seeing a sea turtle that was, like, I don't know, this thing had to be 600 pounds, and it was like being in Nemo, like, really like being in Finding
Yes.
Nemo. Like, the sea turtle swam right up to me, like, it was less than a foot from my face, like, I could imagine just saying, "Dude."
I was just gonna say that.
Totally peaceful. Nothing there is afraid because of the relationship that's been cultivated to protect them at all times. So, I remember going to the Charles Darwin Foundation Research Center and we learned a lot, took a tour there and it has its own beach and such. And my kids got like a scavenger list of can you find all of these species, while you're staying in the Galapagos. And we visited different parts and islands. And I think by the end of it, they checked off all but one thing. So everything from like blue frigate birds to tiger sharks. And I'm like, where did you see the tiger shark? I didn't see the tiger. Oh, mom, it was when you were resting on the beach one day. We were in the water. I'm like, you were in waist deep water. Like, yeah, baby tiger shark was just swimming around our ankle. A what? That's what I mean about the level of they don't fear and no one harms them.
Yeah,
And, when I tell people that story, like, "You let a tiger shark swim around your children?" But there's absolutely nothing to fear from them in that environment. That you're
yeah,
in their space and they know they're being respected, as you said. When we were boarding ferries, you kind of have to get by the sea lions who are just lounging all over the decks while you're getting on and off the ferries. They're not gonna get out of your way. Sometimes they're on the benches for humans just lying
yes,
there with their pups. It's like, "Oh, okay."
yeah. Yeah, I was in, San Francisco once fishing in San Francisco Bay, and I caught it wasn't a tiger shark, but it was a baby leopard shark, which was just
Wow.
so beautiful. But the sea lions, oh my goodness, they were just incredibly awesome and friendly and came up and like I was feeding them over the side of the pier. Like we had caught some white bass and had cleaned them and stuff. And so I was giving them the skins and stuff. And I
Nice.
have videos of them like coming and like taking it. It was just that connection that you get with animals when, you're able to travel and see them in their native lands and
Yes,
environments where is home for them, right? It's so beautiful. I can't believe you met turtles. Ugh, it's like I'm happy jealous right now. It's like totally on my bucket list and something I would love to do with my daughter one day. So I'm going to have to pick your brain on the sidelines about
absolutely.
yeah, some places to go for the sea turtles.
Yes. Turtles are I'm literally if I didn't fear completely messing up my studio setup right now, I would turn my camera because I am facing our pet turtle as I
You have a
record
pet
this.
turtle?
So it is my husband's turtle he's had since he was 12 years old, and this turtle will probably outlive us. So when he got her, her name is Scooter. She was about the size of his palm at 12. She's now about, oh no, my gosh, Scooter, you're like almost a foot long. And every few years, so when we got married, he brought her to our home, of course, and every few years, I would buy her a bigger tank, like, "Oh, Scooter's growing, she needs some time." No one told me, Lindsay, no one told me. It was when I was in PJ's Pet Center before they closed down, and I was buying for his birthday that year the biggest tank they had, and I said to them, "I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is the biggest tank you have. Like, after this, what am I gonna buy?" And he looked at me like, "Did no one ever tell you that turtles grow to the size of the tank you buy?" No, clearly no one did tell me that. And so I have a very large turtle thanks to my own fault. But yeah, as literally as I'm saying this, she is trying to climb herself onto her rock to sun right now because she has her own heat lamp there and she climbs up and relaxes under the light. So yeah, if you hear any like crunchy sounds in the background, it's her climbing.
Goodness. And does she so what is she specific kind like a painted turtle or, like,
He's
is
a yellow belly cooter because of course a 12-year-old boy would name her Scooter the yellow belly cooter.
I love that. Yep, yep. It rhymes, it's easy to remember. That's the best. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, hopefully one day I get to meet Scooter. That's the
Yeah.
best.
So the kids
Oh
have
my
grown up
god.
with this turtle and they're used to, as I said, having these amazing experiences where they've gone and gotten to release turtles, and watch them flipper down the beach and go into the ocean. And that to me, yeah, if you want to talk about like a microcosmic moment that it just captures and symbolizes belonging, it's watching them go back to that water just absolutely fearlessly, tiny little things, rejoining the water. It makes me cry every time.
Right? It's like going home. They're going
Yeah.
home. And I feel like we all should I think we all feel that way to an extent when we feel water. We feel a little bit like we're at home because we come from that, right? We all come from that water, that sense of water. I just love that. And I love that your kids have those experiences of watching that and then that importance of helping in whatever ways that we can to sustain, right? To help Mother
Yes.
Earth sustain the life on this planet instead of
Yes.
harming it. I remember facilitating for youth once, and I used to tell them every time I had a class in, I would say, Mother Earth would do so much better without humans. That
Mhm.
she would
It's true.
thrive without us. But we unfortunately or fortunately, we need her. And so like we need to take care of that and preserve that
Yes.
and help sustain that. Right? Because again, she doesn't need us, but we need her. So in order for us to look after that in Ojibwe culture or Anishinaabe culture, they always look at like the circle, which I think is so beautiful, right? The
Yeah.
connection of that, the circle of life and how everything's interconnected. And when we're talking about that piece of being connected, we look at like the 7 generations that came before us. So like all of the ancestors that got us to where we are today and living a good life today, we say Minoba Modzowen and we look into like the acts of the 7 grandfather teachings, which I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they're beautiful words,
Not
words
yet.
that we all are born with, right? We have bravery and we have wisdom and we have humility and we have love and respect and truth and honesty. And like those are just fundamentals that we're born with, right? And so if we live those those acts and we live Minoba and we try to walk in a good way today with intention, with, humility behind us, we're setting that 7 generations coming up behind us, our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, are setting them up for a beautiful future in a beautiful way of sustainability and protecting the Mother Earth so she can continue her job in sustaining us. So it's so holistic, right? And so
Yes.
I always
Yeah.
try to look at it in that way of doing, learning from where we came from and doing things today in a good way, educating our children just like you are in this beautiful light of
Mhm. Mhm.
harmony and holistic living together in this natural world for the betterment of tomorrow. And I just think that that's such a beautiful way to look
Yep.
at everything and water.
Holistic, respectful, reciprocal, always recognizing the reciprocity that the land owes us nothing, we owe so much.
That's it.
And, the respect of water is a huge one because we've often traveled to places where there are very strong currents and waves. Um, I think one of the recent example I can think of is a couple of years ago when we went to Puerto Rico, and there was a strong undertow the beach that we went to, and, you know, people could go in, but you kind of knew not to go too deep, and there's no lifeguards on duty or anything. My older son and I, Kai, we decided I said, "If you want to really get past the big waves and swim, you gotta get past them." You know how it is, right? Like, when you gotta get past that break point, and I do this anywhere that I travel. I look for the break point, and I try and safely traverse that. We had to actually get through a strong undertow. And it was one of the most important moments for my son to really understand the lessons I'd been, talking about and trying to reinforce over the years of respecting the water and respecting how powerful it is, and it gives and it and taketh away.
Yeah.
So I said, if you're going to go out there, stay close to me. I told him all the rules. I said, when the undertow grabs you, don't fight it, flow with it. You're going to be parallel to the shore, like all the things I've learned. And he should have also learned in life saving, just like remember all these things. And we went out and did it. Sure enough, the undertow grabbed us. He said, Mom, it felt like it grabbed my leg and pulled. And I said, okay, but what happened? He's like, I didn't struggle. I didn't fight. I came back up. And I held my breath for a long time, like, by the time we came back up, we both agreed we were under for at least 30 to 60 seconds, right? Because I said, "You've got to be able to hold your breath and not panic while you're holding your breath and just go with it." And because he was well prepared and he had that respect of what can happen if you don't respect the water, we came out of it with an amazing story to tell. He felt so proud of himself, going back to dad and little brother who were watching, and they're like, were you guys okay? Like, we saw you disappear. We didn't know what happened." And I said, yeah, we were well prepared. And he's like, it was amazing. And that level of pride to talk about bravery, but also to talk about, let's be honest, let's face the truth of what the water is capable of and respected as such. And so that was an incredible bonding experience for us too, just like the sea turtle, right? He and I, as the strong swimmers, have had some incredible bonding experiences because of that, learning our respect for the water together and sharing that. And I also wanted to pick up on, it just struck me between the eyes when you said, we have to walk in good. I think I'm trying to think
With
of the
good
exact word
intention. Yeah, with
because
good intention.
the very traditional Jamaican um goodbye. It's kind of old and dated now, but the very kind of traditional one was always walk good. That's how you'd say goodbye to someone. And so when you said that, I'm like, oh, the resonances. Like, there's so many things.
So many
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
right?
And what that means to me, walk good, captures what you're saying is walk in the good, walk with good intentions, walk with respect for yourself, for the planet, for the people around you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Walk with good intentions, do good things from the heart. And we might not see anything come from that today, tomorrow, next year, next month. An elder told me this once. Walk and do things from your heart, and you might not see these things happen in your lifetime, these good intentions or the good come from your intentions, she said, but good things will happen, and what you're doing is creating a path for people who are coming up behind you or following, and instead of closing that door, you're reaching behind, and that's how the whole circle rises together instead of just one person after another. We
Yeah.
bring everybody together, right? And that's how we stay joined and unified, and
Yeah. And I think about how the water does that, how it
it
just
does
pushes
that.
everything together towards the shore. You lose something today, you might find it down the beach tomorrow.
Exactly. And everything alive follows that water, so there's that interconnectedness of the water gathering people together for the very reason of just being that connector of life, right? It connects life together, so everything is just following that water, and so I think that that's always if you're lost, find water and follow it. It
Mm.
leads to somewhere, right? And
Yep.
so, like, that's something my dad always told us too when we were growing up. If you're lost, other than, "Stay put and I'll find you," which is essentially what they tell you. My dad always said, "If you find water, stay by the
Yep.
water because people will find you by that water." So,
That's good advice. That's very good
yeah.
advice.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my goodness. This has been an amazing conversation, and it's just made me 10 times more excited to come up to the Sioux. I really want to get there this summer. My family also big kayakers, more recently so. Like we only took it up a few years ago, but my younger son, oh, he's huge fan. Every summer, he goes for 2 weeks to canoe camp. We are blessed that we are right by Canada's only national urban park. So we live very short walk or bike riding distance to the Rouge. The Rouge spans multiple cities in the GTA and actually goes outside of the GTA as well. And we happen to live very close to where the river runs through. We literally a couple days ago, were driving home and just saw a gentleman walking from near the river with salmon longer than half of his torso in either
Are you
side of his body, just
serious?
walking because he just went and fished
Yes,
those out of the river, right? So,
yes.
my older son, they play, what do they call it? Manhunts, where they chase each other around the forest, and I love it. Like, the thought of a 15-year-old kid and all of these, very multiracial Toronto kids playing around in the forest, seeing who can like climb a tree to hide and who can find, the best access to cross the river that no one else can cross. And I love that they have that experience while being in such an urban area as well. It's such
Yeah.
a blessing, as you say. Um, and so, yeah, I look so forward to getting to explore Lake Superior and learning from you and learning from the land and the water there. Sounds absolutely incredible.
Yes, I can't wait to show you around, and, well, in the meantime, check out Lake Superior Provincial Park on a map, or I think they have a website as well, because that is one area I would love to bring you, just because, A, its scenery is just absolutely incredible, but they have these pictographs called the Agua Bay pictographs, which are century-old drawings on the rock face of Lake Superior from our Ojibwe people, and so it's such an incredible story, which we won't dive into today because we'll be on here for another half an hour. But maybe another day we can dive into. But I really want to show you those and your kids those. And you can kayak past them, you can walk to them. But if we go by the water, we can see so many more around kind of the point. So bring your kayaks with
Incredible.
you and we're gonna go on an adventure.
Oh, that sounds so good. Well, as
Yeah.
promised, I will not close out today without pulling us a card because this has been such an awesome session. And for anyone who hasn't seen these before, I usually pull a card. They're from the Tarot of the Divine, which is an amazing multi-ethnic, mythologically based deck. And it's inspired by deities and folklore from all over the world by Yoshi Yoshitani, is the author and creator of this deck. I always shuffle on camera, so I have no idea what card I'm going to pull, and something interesting always comes out. So today we've got beautiful card with a beautiful meaning. It's the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is about stable foundations, especially around marriage and family. So much talk of family, I think, has brought out this card. This is the happy home card. So I'm going to read from the book here what the definition of this particular one is, because, as I said, it's going to be depicting a particular myth or legend. So, 4 of Wands, this is, and I'll hold it up. This is Mohini and Aravan, and it's from India, and it's from a Sanskrit epic poem. The Four of Wands represents rejoicing and festivities, a well deserved celebration, and a stable time to be thankful, cherishing loved ones. Mohini and Aravan embrace each other, enjoying the time before the next adventure begins. It represents reunion, success, pride, happiness, and family. So, what a wonderful and lovely card to come out today when we've talked about all of those things, how much joy and happiness the water brings us, how much it brings to our families, how much it is foundational to, I would say, not just the love in our families, but even the success and who we understand ourselves to be as families. So the cards are always to me magical because they never lie. I've never pulled a card once and thought, now, how does this relate to what we talked about today? The right thing always appears. And so I think, yeah, that was perfect for us.
And what a great way to end on the number 4. The number 4 is culturally very significant for Ojibwe people. The 4 quadrants of our sacred medicine wheel and the hoop is cut into 4 quadrants. So to me, as soon as you said the 4 of wands or 4 wands or 4 of wands, I was like, oh
Yep.
my goodness, they're, yeah, 100%. The 4 sacred medicines and the 4 elements, water being one of those elements, right? And so
And
I
the
think it's
healing of
the
the
healing.
concept of healing of the medicine wheel, and
Yeah.
I should also say, the wand suit in tarot, there's 4 different suits. The wands always represent passion. So it can sometimes be about career, but it really talks about purpose and calling. So when I say it can't be a more perfect card, it's
No.
an absolutely beautiful one to summarize our conversation today. Oh,
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Gina,
sure.
and this community space. It's so nice to virtually kind of meet everyone, and I'm so thankful to follow and to take part and listen in on all of your other great conversations to come.
Well,
Yay.
thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by with us today, Lindsay. I mean, you were pouring and sipping in equal measure, and that's always a wonderful balance that I so appreciate. For those of you who don't know, you can always subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever a new video comes up. Usually released bi-weekly. I did take a break for the March break, but I promise more cool content and great guests like Lindsay are to come, of course. And, consider liking and sharing the video if you got a glass of something super refreshing today that you think someone else would also benefit from. Hopefully, there was some insight and something that resonated for you. I will also put beneath in the description box my email address if you are interested in receiving any professional coaching, and that can include or not include tarot reading. They also do tarot readings separately and also do speaking engagements. And that's actually how I met with Lindsay. I was doing a speaking engagement at her company. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can reach me at my Dr. Gina Lemonade email address below. Feel free to contact me and would love to chat with you. As always, I want you to be safe, be well, and to deeply express my gratitude for taking the time to stop by and enjoy something freshly squeezed with us today. So until we meet again, thank you. Thank you, and stay safe.